Well, hello, hello, hello. I think you're always you're accustomed to my saying that this is LaRuelist Cafe, but it's been a while. I haven't been on with the show since I think September or October, but we're pretty excited about what we're going to do today. We're excited about our guests. We have with us an amazing woman. I'm going to keep that for a couple of seconds because I do want to talk about a couple other things. But we really do appreciate all of you who have been sticking with LaRuelist Cafe. As most of you know, that the live show, even when we're no longer live, you can still go on the different platforms on Facebook and also LinkedIn. You're being seen right now on LinkedIn, is right, as well, that you can go in and still see the show. And then I will put up before we end this show that you can go to larulistcafe.com. And on larulistcafe.com, you will still be able to see this show for forever. We started LaRuelist Cafe back during the pandemic when we were all on lockdown, and we had amazing shows. I guess there are about maybe 30 shows on that website. And some of my closest friends, some of the folks who are no longer with us anymore. Our very first show on LaRuelist Cafe, actually featured one very well-known lawyer and lobbyist, Michael Murphy, along with my twin brother. And as many of you know, my twin is no longer with us. Another great show actually was with the Lieutenant Governor, Sheila Oliver. And her family has used that show in many of their events where they show her in live in the flesh talking about her life. There were just so many amazing shows. So today we have another great show. We have a story of just before Mother's Day, no better time to actually talk about this, but we have a story about a senator, and you're going to find out some great things about her, some humorous things about her, some serious things about her. And when we're done with this show, one thing everybody's going to agree with, she is a freaking rock star, and she is a mom's mom. She knows about motherhood, knows about raising children, knows about policy, just knows about so much. I just absolutely love her. But before we bring her on, I want to bring our producer because a lot of you have seen the LaRue Game Changers. She came up with the idea of the Game Changers. It's something that I'd wanted to do for years. And all of a sudden, she's like, "You don't have time to do it. I'll do the publishing. We will get this done." And we have celebrated over just about 200 women throughout the state who are definitely game changers. And our guest on today is definitely one of those game changers that we celebrated. So I'm going to bring on our amazing Shanique
Hi
Calavera.
everyone. Hi
There she is.
everyone. I
She
hope you
is our
guys.
producer. She is our publisher of the Game Changers. And she is on for a couple of minutes just to say hello. And then she's going to move on and keep us out of trouble.
Hi everyone. I hope you guys enjoy the show. It is a good one, let me tell you. Tell a friend to tell a friend and make sure you guys share this with everyone you know because it's going to be a powerful show and I'm just so excited about it myself. Enjoy.
Thank you. There, she lights up my day every day, so I just absolutely love her. So now, without further ado, now first of all, see, I usually when I bring on a guest, I have the two of us together, but this woman right here, she is a sight for, um, she is a sight for what do they say, for sore eyes. So I want you to actually see her alone, and once you see her alone, then I will bring the two of us on together. But you got to see her by herself.
Hello. How is everyone doing? Thank you so much, Janine. We love you so much. When I say we, just women all over the state, people all over the state. And I'm so happy to be here on your podcast. and so happy to see you following a longtime dream.
So that this is our Senator Britnee Timberlake. Britney Timberlake is a freaking rock star. She
Thank you.
absolutely is. And for those of you who don't know, when Britney was sworn in, I mean, there are a lot of firsts with her. We're going to talk about that in a second. But when she was sworn into the New Jersey legislature, to the assembly, she was 9 months pregnant. Now,
Yeah.
I've been lobbying for a whole lot of years. I have never seen a legislator stand up with the right hand up in the air, 9 months pregnant. Tell
Yes.
us about that one, Senator, please.
Well, the opportunity came to run for the assembly, made by my mentor and someone who was very special to me, the late great Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver. So I happened to be with child, and I think that women should do whatever it is that they want to do whenever they want to do it, and however they want to do it. And I wanted to step into motherhood while also stepping into the assembly, and I'm grateful to God that I was able to do that, and I did. So I gave a very breathy speech because my lungs were pushed all the way up,
I
9
remember.
months pregnant. And, I talked about what I want to do for the community, which is always about, addressing systemic issues throughout all systems, and fixing those things. And then afterwards, I left and made sure that I stopped by the caucus room to get some really good cookies that were very important to me that day because I was 9 months pregnant.
Now, were you craving cookies? I mean, was that the deal? Were you craving it?
I was craving it. And you know what's hilarious is that I remember still to this day what they were. They were like this cranberry orange cookie that they had ordered in. And I remember saying, we've got to go back and get more. And we actually turned around. I was walking out the building, turned around to go get some more of those cookies. So that's what it was like the day that I was sworn in. And we haven't looked back. I mean, listen, I do what I do, not for to see my name in lights or for popularity, but to help make positive change. And
Hmm.
carrying a child and bringing a child into this world, you realize very quickly that nothing is about you as an individual, that it has to be about us as a collective to make the world better for the next generation. So it's always been an honor and a privilege. And I do want to say that everyone in the assembly was very supportive and gracious as I was being sworn in like that.
And I would imagine everyone was holding his and her breath. The good news is you had a few doctors at that point who were, I think, no, was Senator, no, Assemblyman DeCroce had passed away by
Hmm.
then.
Yeah,
You
God rest
still
his
had
soul.
Herb
Herb
Conaway,
Conaway, who's now in
right?
Congress,
Yes, are now in Congress, so it's always great to have a doctor in the house. That
for
was great.
sure.
And one of the things that it doesn't go by me when our beloved, very beloved, late Lieutenant Governor Sheila Oliver was on the ballot to run for Lieutenant Governor with now former Governor Murphy,
Mhm.
and she kept her seat also for the assembly just in case
That's
the
right.
voters didn't want to bring Murphy in. But
That's right.
once they won the governorship and lieutenant governor, then you were selected to be her successor. Tell us about that. I mean, the Speaker of the Assembly, you were selected to be her successor.
Yeah. So she was a very special person to me, and mentored me very close. And I'm still not over the fact that she isn't here anymore. But I'll tell you that it's an honor of a lifetime to have someone like her pass the baton and be intentional about that. Um, and she was also my biggest cheerleader when it came to, me wanting to grow my family while also wanting to lead in an elected capacity. And she just understood and was so wonderful. So it was always, I always looked forward to letting her know when, when we were with child. And because since being sworn in 9 months pregnant now, I just gave birth to our fourth. And I was thinking of her the other day because she would have just been so ecstatic to hold him. But
Exactly.
she was a giant. And to have someone like that pour into you and to teach you how to legislate, how to public speak, and how to deliver the results for the people. I mean, it was like a master class.
How
Just
old
doing
were you when you? Because I remember saying to her when I said, Sheila, who's going to succeed you? And she said, oh, it's going to be Brittany. She said, and I said, the freeholder. I said, but she's so young. She said, Janine, she's going to be just fine. So tell me, how old were you when you actually took oath?
yeah. So when I went to the Freeholder Board, now called Commissioners, I was 28. And I believe that when I was sworn into the assembly, it was about 31. And I don't typically, and especially then, did not share my age so much because I think that it's just a number, you know,
Yes,
regardless of how old you are, whether or not it's young or more seasoned in age and in time, it's just a number. And sometimes people will judge you based off of that, or they might have a child that you know uh, isn't necessarily where they would like them to be in life, so they're comparing you to that person. Well, I don't have to listen to this person, and sometimes it happens to me still. I heard a comment made from someone whom I was helping, and they couldn't get out of their own way. They actually made the comment and said, "What does she know? She's not even 40." So I just, people, they have their own isms, right? So yes, being young has taught me that age is nothing but a number. Being a young person in the space of politics has taught me that.
well, Senator, you know what I get all the time when I go somewhere, even in the legislature with some of the baby lobbyists, I call them, they'll say, excuse me, ma'am. You know, they look at the gray top and everything, and it's like they act like I have one foot in the grave and the other one out. So I'm like, ageism, I get it. We all have our stuff going
We
on.
all have our stuff, and but I'll tell you though, what bothers me about young people in politics, some young people in politics, is that they have this notion of, well, move out the way. You shouldn't be doing what you're doing. It's my turn now. I've never been like that. I love wisdom, and I love to learn from people who have lived more than me, who have probably forgotten more than what I know. And I think that we should be fostering like that intergenerational type of communication between us. And
Mhm.
I have seen, that degrade over time. There should be more relationships like the Lieutenant Governor Oliver and myself, and those
Absolutely.
intergenerational exchanges of knowledge, because she would ask me about lipstick and the Mac store and different things like that. and, and what was
Well,
what
that
all the
woman had style for
she had
sure.
so much style. So she was so into it, but she wanted to know, like, okay, wait a minute, what's the next thing coming? What do you see? Um, and she had her own swag as well. But I
Yeah.
get ma'am too, Janine. They call me ma'am as well. Sometimes I think it's the title.
Right, right. You say, I'll accept that. I'll accept. So you had a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful gift. We have watched you in the legislature give birth to four beautiful young boys.
Yes.
Four. And there's no other legislator where we have seen that happen. And so I would like you to tell us, could you give us just an inside look at each of those births? Because it's hard being a working mother and then being pregnant the whole time, and
Hmm.
then four of them, and
Hmm.
this last one to be born at home.
Yes. Thank you. So, I had a great aunt who told me that I would have to one day choose because I couldn't have it all. You can't be a career woman and also want to be a mother and a wife. And I do believe at the time that she said it, she might have, there was something to it. But now we have technology as far as, you and I are communicating over a StreamYard, or it could be a Zoom, or it could be WhatsApp. There's emails, there's all these things, right? So I'm very grateful for those provisions that allow me to kind of be in many different spaces, sometimes at once. However, I'm more grateful for my village and for my family members who come through. We don't have a nanny. It's all of our family members who just come to the house. We have an open door policy with our elders. Our elders just stop in and love on these boys. My first birth, I wanted to have a home birth. I had seen a video on YouTube and it was just so beautiful. I didn't even think I could have kids, by the way, because I have something called polycystic ovarian syndrome. But I had run across this video before I even saw myself being a mother. And I thought, wow, that is just amazing. And then when I found out that I actually was with child, I remembered that video that I had seen a few years prior. And I began to research, and I wanted to have a home birth. But in order to have a home birth, it cost about $10,000 out of pocket. And most insurance companies don't pay for it. And it's really a choice and a decision that comes down to economics. So I continued to do research, and I found what I saw as a hybrid solution where I could actually give birth in the hospital, but at a hospital that has tubs, because it wasn't only a home birth that I saw on YouTube, it was a water birth.
Water birth.
And I love water. Water calms me. The ocean, whatever it is, I love to swim. I was a swimmer, competitive swimmer, so I love water. And in the Atlantic Health Care System at Morristown Hospital, they have several tubs and several birthing suites. So through that research, I was able to decide that I would give birth in the hospital, but I would do it there and at the water birth. So the first baby we water labored, and I was in the tub for quite a while. I could have given birth in the tub, but the midwife said, all right, step out. Let me check you. And next thing you know, I was on the bed, lights, camera, action. My husband was so sweet and has been very supportive of this journey. He said to me at the time, because I remember the big light being turned on, and I said, oh no, this isn't what I wanted. And he said, do you want me to carry you back to the tub?
Oh,
and
wow.
How sweet, right? And
I got chills. So it was like, it's her option, her decision.
Correct. And he's been that way, And actually, when I decided to do that, that was around the time that the Serena Williams article came out. Hi, Mima. Speaking of my village. On the bed? No, Mima. Just 1 second, okay?
I love it.
That's my mother-in-law looking for the baby.
Oh. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so, I got to tell you something funny. Hold that thought. Pastor Ronald Slaughter just said, I know my senator is not on here after having another baby. Wow.
Yeah, that is so funny. Hey, shout out, Pastor. Yeah, and it's so funny. It's so natural, right? Like Mima's looking for her baby. He's sleeping. But so he said that to me, and this was around the time the Serena Williams article came out. And I remember when we were in one of our birthing classes, they transitioned and asked him, like, well, how do you feel about this? And he was on the first birth. He was a little nervous. He was like, I've never seen anybody do what she wants to do. And I'm a little nervous because Serena Williams had written the article about her experience birthing in the Black maternal and infant health and the rates that exist in our country. So there was a bit of not hesitancy, but he was concerned, and I didn't know that had they not asked him.
Wow.
So, but anyway, nevertheless, flash forward to where it's showtime, and he's saying to me, "Let me, let me. Do you want me to carry you back to the tub?" But at that, I was in so much, because you're in the middle of a contraction, and I said no. So, the second birth, I was in denial that I was in labor because he was 2 weeks early, and the type A in me was like, "But he's
Wow.
2 weeks early, and I can't do that." So, like, what do you mean? This isn't labor. So we got to the hospital. We got there a little bit late, and then they do intake at the hospital, even when you're in an active state sometimes.
Mhm.
And so it delayed the progress, and I had to birth
Mm,
on my back. Each time I had a doula, and
great.
Rachel Connolly Kwok, I appreciate her so much.
The same doula?
The same doula for all my
Okay.
babies. All of my
Wow.
babies. And she's also a photographer. And if you look at the photos that she chronicled, you can see in that labor, it was very strenuous for me. But you can see the difference in the way in which I look.
Mm,
And that was a very, very hard one to do because I stalled out in the hospital because of the intake. And then it just rolled from there. The third baby was the perfect water birth in the hospital. And then, having the opportunity to have another baby, knowing the legislation that I've been advocating for home births, for choice,
mm.
because true feminism is believing that a woman has the right to choose in every aspect of her life, every single aspect.
We need 120 legislators like you.
Like how do you want to birth? Do you want to birth? Do you want to be married? Do you not want to be married? How much money do you want to make? Do you want to work? Do you all these things? Like, it is our autonomy to choose. So I chose. And I
Mm.
chose this time the water birth at home. And my husband was gracious too, because he spent about 3 months changing like the little fixtures and things in the bathroom to make sure that it was right, and supporting me all the way through. And I'm happy. It's important to say that I was healthy enough to do it. There was a little slight complications where I wasn't too sure if I was going to be able to. And then they ended up rectifying themselves. And it was uh it was the most empowering decision of my life, was to birth at home. And I was empowered also by Mia Leong and Vicki Headley, who are certified midwives and
You
have
do
been.
know Vicky is on here right now. You do know that.
Vicki!
Yes.
I
And
love
she
that.
says, I hope this is being recorded. Vicky, it is absolutely being recorded.
Vicki and I were just having a beautiful conversation. She came for one of the postpartum visits. And the conversation that we had, I've been thinking about it every day. And it was such a beautiful experience to be empowered to, one, birth the way I wanted to. But she said to me, she said, imagine how if all of society as women, we really knew and understood our power, and it wasn't taken away from us or honed in the way in which it is sometimes, as we have medicalized birth so much, and not just medicalized, but it's economy, right? It's money. So that's really been sticking with me, because
Mhm.
I was talking to a surgeon regarding the rates of C-sections, and someone who thought, well, what are you talking about? You're doing a hippy dippy home birth. What do you mean? What if you need a C-section? And we're talking about how the United States has a disproportionate rate in comparison to other countries, because C-sections, the doctors get paid more money for it. There is a time and a place for C-sections, don't get me wrong. And there is always a time and a place for a hospital too. But I'm talking about choice, I'm talking about access, and I'm also talking about being informed, right? So
And we should
um,
talk about the data too, Senator, because who is being recommended the most for,
Black
in
women.
fact, these young Black women who really don't medically need a C-section are
That's
being
right.
told you can plan when you have your baby and all. What?
Right. And what I was told by the person, the doctor, he said to me, the reason why we like C-sections, and I'm sure he's not speaking for all doctors, but this is what he said to me, is because we can be in control in the OR. And what Vicky said to me is like, think about that. Who was in control in your bathroom? That was you. And that was so empowering for my husband to be there, for all three of my boys to be there, to see that in their mom and to see what women do. And there was a time where women did birth in that way and the community came together and, you know, and I do think that was a time where where women are more held in more esteem in certain cultures. And I don't know, I haven't been
Yes.
able to shake the thought of maybe if there were more freedom and autonomy for women to do what we do as our very powerful selves and our very powerful beings, that maybe society would have to also fall in line in that thought and not disrespect us.
Say it.
Yeah.
That part.
And particularly as Black women. I mean, Malcolm said
Yeah.
the Black woman is the most disrespected woman on the planet. Malcolm X, for those who don't know, just Malcolm.
Yeah.
The way you and I may know. I know you knew exactly who I was talking about, Janine.
Yeah.
But it's true. And there's been a recent video circulating on social media, and while I was going through what I was going through, members of my community were a little nervous. They were like, "What are you doing? Are you sure? Are you right?" And I'm like, "I'm totally fine." And one of the people that were a little concerned, they sent me the video of the woman who had to go before the judge while she was in labor to try to get this judge not to order her to have a C-section in Florida. And of
Wow.
course, it's a Black woman. You know, but again, it's like people forcing their will on us and on our
Yes.
bodies. I'm also for just choice, period. I don't
Yeah.
think that home birth is for everybody. I just think that doing what you want as a woman should be for everybody. I have a friend who's like, girl, I don't care if I get in there, you know, 7 centimeters. I want the epidural. I want a chai tea latte, and I'm going to powder my face, and I get it.
And you know what? They have that right. Every
They
woman
have
has
that
the right to
right.
say, right?
They have that right. And
Yes.
what I want is for all women to have the right to birth how they want, and for economics not to be a barrier on that. For the
Hmm.
insurance companies to pay for home birth in the same way in which they would pay for hospital birth. And I also really want to make sure that we get past the Midwifery Licensing Act. Okay? Because midwives have been, I want to talk a little bit about the difference between a midwife and a doula. The midwives are the ones who have the more specialized medical knowledge. They go to school for many years. They're trained. They're certified, and there are colleges that have specialized in this, particularly in other states. New Jersey could benefit from also having a branch or a college here to teach midwifery. And what they're asking for, the midwives are asking for, is for their own midwifery licensing board. And research has shown that women do better under specialized care, particularly also Black women. And that specialized care is with midwives. So I want to talk about the team that I put together and the level of experience. I mean, Vicki Headley, who's on, has been doing this for many, many years. They always work in pairs because there's 2 people, at least unless you're pregnant with multiples. With me, there was 2 people, right, that you have to attend to medically in the event of emergency. There could be the mom and the baby, so they work in pairs. They follow all of the science. They have their mechanisms and their instruments and things, and just full of so much knowledge. And then there's the doula. The doula is the one who actually is like a coach, and who says to you, okay, look, you're stalling out a little bit. What if we turn your body this way? What if we do what if we do this type of stretch, or if you get on this ball or with Bozo or something like that? So And I have to tell you, my doula several times has, through her working with me, has prevented intervention.
Oh, now was your doula, was that Mia or was that,
That is Rachel.
okay, who's Mia?
So Mia was my head midwife.
She's on here too, you know.
She is. Hey, Mia. You hear these kids in the background?
Well,
This is my,
that's why we're here.
this is my
Well,
baby.
well, well. Oh my goodness.
This is my Dimitri.
Yes.
I'd like you guys to go downstairs.
Hi.
Say hello. Thank you.
And baby
Dylan.
And baby Dylan is here.
Yes, and Dylan.
He's
Dylan.
sleeping. We want to keep him sleeping. Yeah, thank you, honey. So so Mia is amazing. She's a rock star. She knows I mean, they're just brilliant, right? So there was a time in the pregnancy where the baby was late, and what they do in the hospitals, they're like, okay, so we're going to induce you, right? We're going to do these things. We're going to, you know, could be Pitocin, and then, you know, the studies have shown that sometimes like the Pitocin leads to more stalling, and then the end of that story sometimes is C-section as well. No. They gave me a recipe. Juices and berries. Okay, it was no berries, but it was juices and nut butter and some other things. I won't give the whole secret away. If you really want to know, you get yourself some midwives. And when I drank this holistic beverage, I went in labor a few hours later.
Wow.
They my doula Rachel came, and she was pressing different points on my body to get me to open up, and it worked. So it's unfortunate because that is something where we're also scared into a lot of intervention in the hospital, and with the care, being under the care of Mia as well as Vicky, and with Rachel, it's all about autonomy. It's all about, well, let's try this. So the day that I went into labor, Rachel had come over the day before and the day of to put me into certain positions. That plus the holistic juices, and it jump started labor without that type of unnatural intervention.
Now, can you imagine, just think, because I know, you know, I've given birth to 2 kids, going into a hospital where even your own doctor may not really listen to you.
Sure.
And certainly all these nurses running around, they're not listening. And you have all of this tender, loving care leading up to delivery. To me, it's amazing. And you have better outcomes because you are listened to and you are participatory in your delivery.
Yeah, and you know, and again, I don't want to stigmatize the hospital because I did give birth under the care of midwives. It was Avalon Group, and they were amazing when I was at the hospital too, you know, and they were really, you know, supporting me. But I remember the last birth in particular, I think it was with Joanne, and she said to me, she was like, you're stalling out. What do you want to do? And I said, hold on one second. So I said to her, she said, do you want a touch of Pitocin, or do you want to wait? And I was, you know, you're kind of nervous, and I'm looking around, and my husband, again, he said to me, honey, I thought you said that you might have wanted to do this without any intervention. Is that still what you want? And I said, I think I want to wait. He's right. I want to wait. And they said, okay, then we wait. That was the most empowering thing. Then we wait.
Were you scared when you said that, though, Senator? Did you have second thoughts like,
I did, because you don't know, and you're kind of, you know, you're nervous, and you're in a state of pain, by the way, too.
Yeah.
I always give them strict instructions, like, don't come in here and offer me an epidural, because if you offer me a chainsaw, I'll say yes, you know. Let me just stay in my mind meditation as much as I can, right? But that's empowering. That was empowering
Right.
choice. And I remember turning to her and I was like, do I push? She was like, do you want to push? And I
Wow.
gave birth in the tub at the hospital there. So, you know, it's all about empowerment. It's all about
It
being
is.
heard, being listened to,
Yeah.
and being respected. And I found the best care under midwives. They deserve this midwifery licensing act to pass. They've been stigmatized in the community for many years because of the money around the
It
medical system.
always comes down to the dollars. I mean,
Yeah,
and these types of things make women second guess the options that they want to exercise. You
exactly.
know, and let me tell you something else that's empowering.
Hmm.
We have children in our church. I go to Pastor Boyer is my pastor, and we have children. Sometimes the children will get up and they will run to the front. In the middle of the sermon, they're running to the front to the altar. They're running back, and the pastor will say, "Leave those kids alone. God is working on them, and you never can tell. They might be getting ready to have their own trial service." What's empowering, I believe, for shows like this, when we have these very important conversations, that we hear your background music.
You
We
hear these babies,
hear,
Sarah?
and I'm very
Mhm.
serious about this. This is empowering. You are a mother. You gave birth less than a month ago, and you are still out here working for the people, for expectant mothers, and even the fathers who are like your husband, who are standing by their women and saying, "What do you want to do?" This is
Yes.
real life here, and we
Yeah.
should hear your surroundings.
Yeah.
So
Thank
I
you.
I am loving this, absolutely loving it.
Thank you. And they will make sure they're heard.
There you go, that part,
Yeah,
that
and
part.
that's the important thing too. I had someone say to me, like, I would never let my wife, do what you did because it's different for some people. And I was just like, my husband, he trusted that I knew what was best for me and for how I wanted to bring a soul into this world. And he supported me, through that journey, not once but 4 times now. So it's I'm very grateful for that as well, because I didn't have that
Mm,
pressure coming from my man, right? Let
right.
alone my man, telling me what I can and can't do either.
Just and do
So
you know the fact that you have all boys,
yes.
all sons, and they participated in this last journey with you? Can you imagine if they choose to get married and if they choose to marry women, however they do their lives, just the respect that they're going to have for the process? I
And
thank
that's
you and your
my
husband
hope.
for that.
That's my hope. And we prepared them, Mia, Vicky, and Rachel came over. They did a home visit. They walked them through, hey, I'm Mia. I'm gonna be here, and I'm going to, be helping your mommy. And you know, we were trying to explain to them what the sounds they might hear during birthing, like, mom might yell out, but she's okay. And then Rachel, because she was with me 4 times, we had a real good laugh. She started imitating my birth for them, and she was calling on the Lord, because that's what I do. I call, I
Listen,
call on
I,
Jesus,
I remember I
and He's my
remember at
help
the
comes
end of
from.
both deliveries. I just yelled at Jesus.
Yes,
It was Jesus the last. Just
but
became very lengthy.
it's so true. It's so true. And so they integrated themselves into the family. And what I like about them too is that they are very well aware of the unfortunate statistics that exist with Black women. And they're also aware of another statistic, that there isn't enough Black women in the space of doula and midwifery. And we want to change that. We want to encourage people to get into that field, but I also wanted to just to educate, through this experience. This was the most public birth that I've ever, like, yes, I was sworn in 9 months pregnant, but that I've shared in such a very public way, because I realized that there's so many women that don't know that they have choice and autonomy. And I really wanted to show them what that looked like. But the boys, they also watched me. And here's another sound. The boys, they had also watched me um, organize our space and curate.
Come on, Dylan. I can feel it. Dylan's getting ready to join the show.
You've been waiting for Dylan. Yes, sweet baby.
Oh, I love it. I
Mima
just
is
love
looking
it.
for you. I literally hear Mima sitting like right on the other side of the door. She's like,
So she's Mima. Okay, because I'm Mimi. Oh, I love it. Tell
yeah.
Mima, come on in and get her baby.
Yeah. Mima, he's awake.
Oh my goodness, so
Yeah.
adorable.
So, they watched me curate the whole space and to make sure that everything from like my choice of water for how I could stay hydrated to the aromatherapy with lavender and eucalyptus and things, all the stuff.
Wow.
So, the boys were a part of it.
Yeah.
And they were really excited. My 3-year-old was the most compassionate. They were all compassionate, but he was doing this to my hair.
Wow.
And then he said to
I noticed
me,
one of them had their underwear on backwards.
so that's the one that was the most compassionate. He may not know how to put on that bathing suit the right way. But I'll tell you, when the baby came out, he told everyone, don't breathe on the baby. So we had done a pretty good job preparing them for what to expect, because I did not want them to be scared,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to end the show. I know that there are some other pieces of legislation. They don't have bill numbers yet. One is a community-led birthing justice and equity resource initiative, waiting for a number. The other is a targeted midwifery workforce development act that is out there waiting. There's so many things. I mean, when we have champions like you in the legislature, there's so much hope for women.
Yeah.
There's so much hope for women, and we thank you. We thank you for sharing your story on social media. I looked at your Facebook page that day, and I started to cry. It was so beautiful.
Oh, wow.
It was just so beautiful, and to happen around Easter and all of that. And I said, I've got to have her on the show. We thank you for sharing this.
Well, thank you. And you are an amazing, powerful, inspiring woman beyond, who has helped so many women, such as myself, make inroads in Trenton and to be successful. So that means so much, because you inspire many of us. So to hear that you have been inspired to do this, thank you for that. We want to get these bills passed. The insurance coverage, establishing midwifery license. There's another one that requires, before you leave the hospital, that you are visited by a lactation consultant. Not just, you cannot, you can always refuse. Not everybody has to breastfeed. I mean, baby's nursing right now, but you can learn the benefits of it. And if you can do it, do it. And if you can't, no judgment, because that's important that we don't judge each other as women. And then
we have a question: how can they help with these bills? Viewers who are looking now, and by the way, we have LaRuelistCafe.com at the bottom of the screen. You can go to the website and actually look at this show over and over and over again. Many people do. It's always going to be there. But go ahead. I'm sorry. How can people help with this?
Yeah, you can call your legislators, ask them to support Timberlake's maternal health and birthing package, midwifery licensing act. If I know Vicky and Mia are watching, so they can drop the advocacy links in. I know ACNJ has been very outspoken on this as well. This has been something we've been trying to do for quite a few sessions. And by the way, can
Mhm.
I just say that not just quite a few sessions for the Midwifery Licensing Act, but since I was sworn in 9 months pregnant, I've been trying to get a lot of these bills done and they still haven't been done.
It's
And
crazy.
at one point in time, I said, how many babies do I have to have? And before you guys can stop talking at me about
Hmm.
Black women and statistics and birthing, instead of recognizing that I am a Black woman who is birthing while also being a legislator, and that these bills would be very helpful to women. So hopefully we're going to see that they pass this go around. But another one requires the employer to provide certain accommodations for breastfeeding for as many as long as a person they decide they want to breastfeed, because it's between mom and baby. It shouldn't just be for only for a year or whatnot. And
Hmm.
speaking of employer, I'm working on a bill right now that requires the FLI, family leave insurance, and the employers to make sure a woman can take 12, or a parent expecting father to can take 12 weeks of fully paid 100% leave to bond with baby, because
Wow.
we live in a country that gives more time for puppies and dogs to spend time together than we do for moms and
Say
babies.
it. Say it.
Hmm.
This has been an amazing show, and I thank you so much. We're going to have you back on here again, and at some point, I want to have the whole freaking family on because
They will
I
love
want to
that.
hear. Oh my goodness, I want to hear what Dimitri has to say about all this. But
Yeah.
this has been magnificent. Thank you so much, Senator, for agreeing to do this. And says Vicky is giving everyone instructions on what to do, how to get these bills passed. And look, we got a woman governor now who talks about, well, she has 4 children too, right? Yeah, so this should be a little bit easier. These guys get, and both of our the leaders, the Senate president and the Assembly Speaker, we need to work on them and tell them you got to start listening to women. You got
Let's
to
put
start listening to these women.
Yes, yes. And I know the speaker has a cousin who's a midwife, and but I always tell him I want these bills done. Let's get all of
Yep.
these bills done. So let's see where it takes us. And I'd love to come back and I'd love to have the whole family on, Jean. These are
Oh, I would
beautiful
love it.
boys, and I'm raising them to be strong and empowered and to support women as well.
Thank you so much, Senator. And enjoy this motherhood. I'm glad that you are not. By the way, I want the viewers to know she actually went out and did a, keynote address a few days ago, but she is back on lockdown. She's not doing
I
that
am.
anymore,
I'm on
right?
lockdown. I'm not
Okay,
going
so
anywhere.
stop.
It was the NAACP. I had
No, it
agreed
doesn't
to it
work.
like 7 months ago. And when the baby was late, it kind of put a damper in, okay, the scheduling, but I wanted to keep my commitment to the people, particularly the people of the NAACP, who for
I
eons have
hear
been
you.
fighting for our
Well,
rights.
now all the people know that you are truly on family leave, and that's it for a
Yes,
while.
yes. I'm not coming outside. Please don't be offended.
I love it. I love you so much,
I love you
and good
too.
luck.
Thank you, Queen.
All righty. Take care. Have a
You
wonderful
too.
day.
Bye now.
Bye bye. So, folks, there you have it. Senator Britnee Timberlake. She's a rock star. We absolutely love her. Thank you for being with us. Oh, we have Mayor Quentin Law. You are a rock star too. You're coming on too. I got some shows that I really need to do with you. But I just thank all of you for viewing this, and stay tuned next Monday for the next LaRuelist Cafe.